Hey everyone, Gary Sims here. I'm back with another Cheltenham Festival 2022 video and a few selections for the upcoming races at the Dublin Racing Festival this weekend. I've got quite a few bets for you today. I've got 4 that I'm adding to my anti-post portfolio, if I can get my words out right. Nothing at major prices. I've decided I'm going to leave my handicaps until later on and get a bit of a better feel. I know, you can obviously try and pick them now and what's going to go where and get some hellish odds, if you like. But handicaps, to be totally brutally truthful, have never been like picking long shot handicaps of what's going to go where. It's something I've never really done particularly good at, so I'm going to leave them till later on when I'm almost certain of what's going where, and try and break them down from there, concentrating on mainly the grade 1 and grade 2 main events sort of thing for Cheltenham today, and then I'm going to give you a selection for most of the races at the Dublin Racing Festival, and we're going to get quickly through them because there's quite a few. First bet today is a race that I've never been too particularly fond of at the Cheltenham Festival, and it's the cross country. Fairly plain and simple, this one. I think Tiger Roll at 11-2 is too big a price. I think, with him coming up to his retirement, I think they'll have him absolutely primed up for this one last run. I think it'll probably get the biggest cheer of the week when Tiger Roll comes up and wins this, and I do think he will win it. I think the time that Easysland won it doesn't seem to be the same horse since, and I just think it's a pretty weak division, to be honest. I don't see a standout contender in there, and Tiger Roll at 11-2 will do for me, and I've added him in a few doubles and trebles this week. So 11-2 out of the bank, £25 win for me on Tiger Roll in the cross country. The second bet today is in a race I've already had a bet in, and it simply boils down to price. Before Energumene took on Shishkin, I put some of my money on Energumene, and I'm still happy with that. But I cannot let go by, before the run this weekend, Chacon Pessoir at 12-1 in a champion chase. I think that is an absolutely ridiculous price, and I think he will romp up this weekend. I think there's clearly been a little issue with him, clearly been an issue. Every jockey that you speak to or see or read that sat on him talks about how good he is, how good his engine is and stuff. And I think he's massively forgotten in this race. It's a 3-horse race, and any of the 3 could win it for me, between Shishkin, Energumene and Chacon. Now, I understand why Chacon won't be the same price as Shishkin and Energumene because of what's happened, but at 12-1, I think it's a bit of a joke, and I just don't think those odds are right, and I don't think you'll get them if he romps up at the weekend. He's not going to go in as short as Shishkin and Energumene, but he's going to be a damn sight shorter than he is. He may find one or even both of the front 2 too good, which is why I'm going to go each way on him. But I fully believe he will be in the top 3 of this race, and I will be playing on the day, providing they all get there. I will be playing a combination tri-cast on those 3 because I don't see anything else beating any of them, to be honest. So it's a £10 each way bet on Chacon Pessoir for the champion chase at 12-1. On to the next one, horse we've seen recently, and it's one I very nearly put a bet on, a different horse prior to last weekend. I was astounded by Paisley Park's performance. I thought it was absolutely superb. Completely back to his old self. I thought that horse was finished, and he's not. Clearly not. And I just don't get the market. I do not get how Time Hill is ahead of him in the market. I think he's about 5-1, isn't he, Time Hill? And I just, unbelievable. Time Hill has come out and he's been beaten by Champ. He's not won anything. Flooring Porter's been beaten by Classical Dream, as we know. Classical Dream then gone on and been beaten. Paisley Park needed the run first time out. He come out, And that was a superb performance, especially after the start. I mean, for me, the start's not as big a deal as other people were making, because at the start of the race, they aren't going that fast, and he didn't need to increase his speed too much to get back onto the back of the field, and then could manage to get the breather into him. But the way he finished, I thought that hill was absolutely made for Champ, but he finished up that hill better than him. And, you know, when you listen to Connections, they feel that last year went wrong for them because he didn't get the prep into him that he's got this year. His prep race, that race last year was cancelled. He's now got that race into him, going on to the Cheltenham, and I think he'll win. I think he'll win. I nearly backed Flooring Porter for it, and he would be my second pick. But at the prices that are in the market, having Paisley Park having done what he did there, to still be 7-1 now, I think it's wrong. I think for me, he should be favourite or joint favourite. So 7-1, in my opinion. I say I'm always trying to find a bit of value, and I want to take Paisley Park to win at 7-1. I heard one or two. I watched nearly all the podcasts and preview shows and stuff. There was just nobody actually put him up. I've heard one or two saying they put him up. They never. One or two actually mentioned that he was the forgotten horse when he drifted out to, was it 33s or whatever, that he was the forgotten horse. And yeah, he probably was, but at the end of the day, maybe not as high as that, but you can understand why he drifted, because he did look finished. And he's back. He's proved that he's as good as he was, and that, with Classical Dream being beaten, obviously he's beat Champ. That for me is as good as anything, and I just think that's his track, and he will excel on the day. So yeah, want to go with a £25 win, 7-1, Paisley Park, Stayers Hurdle. On to the third bet for the festival, and that is for a horse that is again running this weekend. Sorry, this is the fourth bet, sorry, not the third bet. We've had the three, Tiger Roll, Chacun Pour Soi and Paisley Park. The last bet for Cheltenham today, fourth bet, is in the Arkle, and this is for a horse that I think will win this weekend in Riviere de Tel. That form behind Fernie Hollow, I think Fernie Hollow is an absolute beast and an absolute superstar. So for Riviere de Tel to finish as close as she did to him, I think was good. I would never have backed her against him, because obviously she'll get a lesser weight allowance as she did then against him. And I think it's a cracking bet now. I think that market of the Arkle is wide open. Blue Lord for me is a good horse, probably a better chaser than he was hurdler, but I think she can go and win that race, hopefully, and that's why I'm putting this bet on now. A bit of confidence that price is going to come in. She's currently 6-1 for the Arkle. So we're going to go another £25 bet, £25 win at 6-1. I think she carries the best form. It's as simple as that. She might not after the weekend if she does get beat, because that is a hot race now, taking Fernie Hollow out of the equation. That is a hot race, but Fernie Hollow was probably the absolute banker of the week for me. Should he have stayed in the race, but he's not. I'm glad I never put a bet on anything else up to now, as some have, and that's just the unfortunate side of anti-post betting, I'm afraid. So that's the four bets. Yeah, another four in the bank. Like I did say, I did manage to get a video in last week, but they are going to come pretty thick and fast now as the festival draws closer. And that's the four for today. So it's Tiger Roll in the cross country at 11-2, £25 win. Chacun Pour Soi 12-1 for the champion chase, £10 each way. Paisley Park for the Stayers Hurdle, 7-1, £25 win. And Riviere de Tel for the Arkle, 6-1, £25 win. I have got another couple lined up. I'm just trying to find a bit of information out on one or two where they're going to go, and we'll hopefully be back with those soon. On to the Dublin Racing Festival. I'm going to get through these fairly quick. You won't get a full breakdown. Some of them are just token selections. We'll start on Saturday. First race 105. This is one of my more confident bets of the week. I've heard a lot of people tipping this one up, and I totally agree with everything they say. And this is Manila Crooner. Again, like you'll hear on all the others, there's 2 horses, very similar names in this. Be careful which one you pick. This is Gordon Elliott's Manila Corona. Second in the maiden hurdle to Journey With Me. The form from that race is very good, and I think this horse is a bit of a beast, to be honest. Came out of Punchestown a couple of weeks ago and looked an absolute machine. My only slight concern might be the short gap between the 2 races, but I'm going to take a hit on this one. I haven't actually wrote down the price on him. I'll try and get that up before we go. But he's my selection in the first tomorrow at the Dublin Racing Festival. Moving on to the Juvenile Hurdle at 135. Very hot race. I'm going to take a bit of a punt on one. There's quite a few horses in here that have either won one or had a win to the name, and the top of the market does look pretty good, but just for trying to find a bit of value, I am going to try and take one on at a bit of a price, and that's Ben Siegel. 16 to 1 at the minute, and I just think he's a bit overpriced. It's hard when you're not a bookie and try and price things up. I would have had him at around the 10 to 1, 12 to 1 mark, so I just think he's a bit overpriced. I heard a guy who I have worked with a little bit. I heard him saying, Andy Holding saying about his figures being very good. So I'm going to take a bit of a punt on him tomorrow. And those 2 races, the first 2 of the first day, are going to be quite significant for me because they're going to be 2 of my better bets of the weekend. So hopefully, Ben Siegel, I'm going to go each way because they're 16 to 1. Yeah, a fairly confident bet. Like you say, we've obviously got Fildor and Vauban in there, who are very highly thought of. Now, they could turn out to be absolute superstars, and Ben Siegel might get left in the wings. But I'm just willing to have a little bit of a stab at him. So he will be the selection for me in the 135. On to the Arkle at 210. And this is the one I've already spoke about, so I'm not going to go through it all again. My selection at 9 to 4 is Riviere de Tel, win only, and we'll get a little tricksy going on with them first three selections. On to the 245. Difficult race, this one as far as I'm concerned, and no massive selection for the handicap hurdle. There's a couple in here, I really like the Jam Man, but he's not going to want to get his mark up too high for having qualified for the Pertemps. So I can't see him running too big a race, but he's a horse that I really like. If I was to back 2 in this tomorrow, I would probably take a stab on Enjoy Dalan, and probably the other pick would be Good Time Johnny, I think. I don't like Good Time Johnny. I've just noticed that in my notes, was he entered? Yeah, for Turam Reagan. That might be 18 to 1 as well, on a good bit of a drift there is that one. So I might have a little play each way on that. But no major fancies in that race for me. Now, on to the Gold Cup 315. And as those of you who follow me over the years will know, there are 2 absolute cliff horses in here for me. And I'm going to give them both another chance. Kemboy and Asterion Phalange, 2 horses that I absolutely love to bits. Right, one thing I want to get straight now as well is, and straight to the point, Asterion Phalange no longer jumps right. Let's get that out of his system, because he did it, and he used to do it. Obviously, he did it significantly terrible in the Supreme. Go back and watch his last run. He does not jump right anymore. He jumps as straight as a die. The problem is, it doesn't very often land. Now, that's going to be the key to tomorrow for me. Manila Indo might be a Gold Cup winner. Asterion Phalange, ability-wise, for me, is the best horse in this race. He just has to finish. Now, I know that's a problem when you've fallen and unseated as often as he has, but I'm going to give him a chance tomorrow, and I think he's the most likely winner. Kemboy, on the other hand, is a track specialist and is a horse that he's going to have to beat. I can see those 2 being the first 2 across the line no matter what. Don't fancy Frodon. Paul Nicholls is good at targeting a race. Frodon's had his day this year for me. Paul Nicholls' yard is in terrible form due to his flu jabs and stuff. I don't see Frodon winning this race. I can see him being out of it down the back straight. Manila. Indoor for me, very, very interesting that they have, I wouldn't say they've jocked off Rachel Blackmore because she's going to go and ride Apple Tide in the Gold Cup, so they put Robbie Power on. Manila Indoor has never been the same horse since Rachel Blackmore never rode him last time. Now, I'm not saying that Rachel Blackmore's not a good jockey, but could there be something there? Do they just not get on? I'm not a jockey, but there may be times where horses and riders just don't click, just don't connect. That worries me a little bit. However, Henry de Bromhead, the yard are in terrible form. Anybody can break it down however they want. They can sugarcoat it, they can say what they want. He has had one of the worst Januaries he's ever had. January is notoriously a poor month for a lot of trainers. It's notoriously a poor month for him, but not this bad. He's had, I think it's 2 winners in the month, one being Bob Ollinger. And I just don't, I aren't backing, there was a few of his horses that I fancied this weekend, and I'm not backing any of them because I want to see the yard improving in case there's a problem there. So that's out the window for me. The one I was most concerned about is Delta Work, and it's a bit of an odd one. Could just be nothing, but he's obviously won the race before. If he comes back to his best, I think he would be right in the mix. And 11 to 1 is not a bad little price for him. And I nearly put him. I may even do a little combination tricast and put him in as the third tomorrow. But my pick to win is Asterion Falange. My reverse forecast is with Ken Boy, and I might even, like I say, put a little tricast on and stick Delta Work in third. Cracking little race that, by the way. I think it'd be good to watch. But yeah, that's the Gold Cup at 3:15. On to the 350, where we have the handicap chase, and again, it's another one where I don't have a massive play in it. It's another one where I had picked out a Henry de Bromhead horse in Capucci Mix. I just can't back him. I can't put my money on it at the minute with the yard being like it is. So the one I came down on 5 to 1, I would probably cover myself each way, which is with such a handicap. It's not great going each way on 5 to 1. I'm not somebody who likes to do that a lot, but exit poll for me will be a very, very small each way play tomorrow. On to the final race of the day, which is the bumper. And if you have watched my other videos, you will know that one of my selections for the champion bumper runs in this tomorrow, and this is D-Day. This is a hot race. We have Facile Vega, and we have it's what unites us. Nearly couldn't get the name out in there, but Calm Funnock, the horse that I pointed out to you that ran in the bumper that I was at Ayr, that was at. Calm Funnock runs here. It's his first outing since, and his ability will be tested. He's 33 to 1, big outsider. Obviously not expected to be as good as any at the top of the market. He's got to be in the mix, hasn't he? If he's going to be a bumper horse for Cheltenham, he's got to be up there tomorrow. So I said it was at the time a punt that could have been anything. He may not turn out to be the horse that I'm hoping, but I just thought he won really well last time, really well. And I will play on him tomorrow. There's only 7 horses in the race, so it's not really an each way play. If I can get 3 places anywhere, then I'll probably have a dabble at him and hope he can get up there and mix it in with the front 2. But I'm really interested to see how he goes tomorrow. Okay, that is day 1 of the racing festival over, and on to day 2 at Leopardstown, and we start with the Mares Handicap Hurdle. For me, again in this one, it was a couple of selections that I'd looked at. I'm not massively keen on Party Central, if I'm honest. The one that I'm gonna go on. I love the trainer. I think the trainer's a cracking trainer, and I think it could be a good weekend with him. I've already mentioned, I think I've already mentioned one of his horses so far, but it's Lunar Display for Joseph O'Brien. I think Lunar Display could be right in the mix here, and I just thought that she was a little bit overpriced at 16 to 1. Course form, last 6 or 7 races hasn't been out of the places, and up there in the weights, but I think she could have more to offer and could progress again here. So she'll be a small each-way play for me tomorrow. On to a very interesting race at 120, where we see the return of Galopin de Champs. This horse could be anything. Now, the trouble is, and one of the podcasts I was listening to today pointed this out very, very well. The amount of horses that we see that have superstar written on them before they're actually superstars is mega. Your Envoy Allens as a prime example of last year. Now, he's a little bit different because he wasn't a superstar when he was hurdling, and has come through and won the Supreme, won Ballymore, whatever, and come through. He's become a superstar through chasing. I ain't 100% convinced on him yet. I hope he is. Want to see these superstars. And tomorrow, I'd just be a little bit tempted to take him on. I think he's the most likely winner, don't get me wrong, but I couldn't be backing him at 4-7. And I just think I would rather just take the gamble on something to maybe come along and beat him or be placed behind him if I could get a bit of a price on something. Now, a horse that I like that's gone by the wayside a little bit is one of the other Willie Mullins horses in there, in Gaillard de Menil. Now, he may not well be good enough, and that's maybe what's happened. He's coming to open company and he's just not good enough. But at 33-1, I just thought he was maybe worth a little bit better than that. And I'm quite happy to, in a, is it 8-runner race? Yeah, in an 8-runner race, I'm quite happy to have an each-way little play on him and hope that he can run a good race and get in the places. I'd rather be doing that and taking a little punt on that than backing a 4-7. I don't really like too many of the others, like the Master McShee's. I'm not a big fan. Fury Road, I'm not a massive fan. So the others in there, I just thought, let's have a look at the bottom of I actually quite like Fighter Allen as well, but I went for Gaillard de Menil, and I think one of those two at the bottom could sneak a place tomorrow. So that'll be my play in that one. On to the 150. We've already spoke about this in my previous bets. Chacun pour soi is back. 4-5. I will play at 4-5. I think is a good thing tomorrow. I'm really confident he's going to come back and bounce back to his best, and we're going to see the horse of old. And yeah, I can see him winning, and I think Grenadine will get beat tomorrow into second by Captain Guinness. So I can see a 1-2 there for Chacun pour soi and Captain Guinness. Captain Guinness, obviously from the Henry de Bromhead yard, that's not going very well, but it's not too much of a race. I don't see Cashback or Dunvegan getting up there. So I think second will be between Grenadine and Captain Guinness, and I think Captain Guinness can just pick that. But probably about a furlong behind Chacun, hopefully. So we'll move on to the 225, a race that I do not have much interest in at all. One of the handicaps. I'm probably going to play each way on the shunter. Just the story last year got me behind the horse. I like him. I think he's still could offer a bit in these handicaps. And if I had to pick another one, it would be Gordon Elliott's Fakir Delane. But they're both in around the 9-10-1, and they're the two that I would be backing to go on in this race. On to the 3 o'clock. I am a huge Honeysuckle fan, and I know Bob Ollinger won the other week. If Bob Ollinger had got beat the other week, I would 100% going against Honeysuckle here, because I would be adamant there was something wrong in the Henry de Bromhead yard. I just think she's not going to go on forever and win everything, and I hope the stable form, the yard form, pulls round and then she goes to Cheltenham and wins. But just at 1-3, I have to, even if it's a small bet, I just have to play against her with something. And I'm just going to give, at 9-2, I'm just going to give Zanna here the nod tomorrow. Listen, on her best and on his best, she's a country mile better than him. And even if she's not up to her best tomorrow, she'll probably still win. But I'm just not sure what's going on in that yard. And I'm, as you can see from what I've said already about it, I'm a bit fearful of it. I've never backed against Honeysuckle in any of her races. So you're probably going to be made to look a bit silly saying it in the end when she absolutely romps up. But I'm just going to have a little dabble tomorrow on Zanahiyr. If I can find a market without Honeysuckle, I might have a dabble on Zanahiyr in that as well. But even with her at 92, I'm going to have a little play just in case there is a problem there tomorrow. Listen, like I've just said, more than likely she's going to win, but you never know. On to the 335, and I think we will see the guy who is overpriced in the Supreme for me at the minute, Sir Gerhard. I nearly put him up for the Supreme in my bets today, and I didn't. I want to leave it. I think it's a very tricky market. On the day, I might put a token pick up in my anti-post, but because we don't know what's going to go there, it would probably make me pick one of the Nicky Henderson horses, because I do think Willie Mullins will split them. I don't think both Sir Gerhard and Dysart Dynamo will go. Very rarely will he fire two of his main bullets at one race. Very, very rarely. So those of you, I know there's a lot of people on Dysart Dynamo for the Ballymore. It wouldn't worry me too much, because I do think that's still a very good possibility. Sir Gerhard for me will win this race and win it comfortably, and at 5-4 is a place. I'll be sticking him in a double with Chacun Pour Soi as well. So that is that race over and done. And then the last two were two races where I didn't have too much to play at all. The 410, I'm just going to give a little dabble at 25 to 1. Was it 25 to 1? Yeah, 25 to 1 for Ballyadam into Handicap Company. It's obviously gone a bit wrong. And again, I said to you before about the Henry de Bromhead stuff. It worries me. But at 25 to 1, you're not taking as much of a risk as you are at like 1 to 3 with Honeysuckle. So I'll probably have... The only reason I picked him is because I don't really fancy anything else in the race. And on the day, I'll probably back on everything, in every race, I mean. So I'll probably just stick a couple of quid each way. However, if Honeysuckle and that have lost before it, there's absolutely no chance I'll be backing him. So I'll probably see what's happened with like Manila Indo, Honeysuckle, those horses leading up to it before I would back. And on to your final race, which is the 440 bumper again. Not much of a pick for me at all. I like the way Liberty Dance won last time out. There's a lot of horses in here who've only had one run and one win. I can't really pick between them, to be honest. I would probably, maybe Liberty Dance, or would I go with something a bit more with a few more runs under its belt. You can never really. I mean, Jamie Codd, Jamie Codd, you're probably better off just. I'm on your maker, just sticking your money on that, because Jamie Codd tends to be really good in these situations. But Pink in the Park at 11 to 8 could be anything, and it could be a horse that goes and mixes it right in at the bumper at the festival. I'm not sure what price she is for the bumper at the minute, but when I looked and I put Redemption Day up, I know she was just in behind Redemption Day, so probably around the 8 to 1 mark. So if you do fancy her and do think that first, fancy him, for the bumper, I would be getting your money on if you think he's going to go and win this, because that price will be gone if he puts in a good display. But not a big play in that for me. Anyway, those are my Cheltenham bets. Sorry I've rambled on maybe a little bit longer than I intended to. I hope you all have a great weekend. It's a fantastic week's racing. Get yourselves glued to the telly. If you're following any of the Cheltenham bets, good luck. Let's hope we bring some prize money home in the end. And good luck to you all. Cheers. Speak to you soon.